Hello everybody. Today I'm gonna be working on my package that I have just released on NPM, and I want to add a functionality to it. So I thought, why not just show you guys how to do this? Because there's a package I'm working on. So this package is basically a so if you've heard about Quill is a open source project. It's a very good text editor that gives you a lot of controls. And if you go into the playground, you can actually do a lot of stuff in Quill. And it's a very good editor. It's my like go-to editor, whether I'm doing React, whether I'm doing Vue, whether I'm doing basic stuff. So this editor is pretty cool. Now, I wanted a feature in this editor that they do not have, and it was that I wanted to be able to. So, for example, you can actually grab in images and you can drop them in there. So I can actually grab in any image and I can just drop it in there. You can see. So they have a way of image uploading built into it, right? But I wanted a way to kind of upload audio files that I can play right inside from the editor. So they didn't have that, so I figured why not build it myself? I'm pretty free, so why not do it? So I came up with an idea, and then I actually coded the whole thing. It's already done. Let me actually run the stuff. Okay, so if I go to my, so this is the thing I built. Now you have an icon that you can click and you can actually point to a URL or you can upload your own files. Now, I'm not going to do any of that. I have a file right inside my directory. So if I go over here in my assets folder, I have actually a snare drum, yeah. So I'm gonna play that. So I can label the text to be whatever. So I can say this is what a snare drum sounds like. And then I can add a drum. Oh, I can add a drum thing, drum. There you go. And I can just say asset slash, uh, this is gonna be asset slash snare dot wave file. And I can add that. And now when I click on it, it will play the audio. Let it take a minute to load the file. Come on. I don't know why it takes so long at the start whenever I insert the file. I'm going to show you guys how it's happening, but yeah, you can improve on that. So for the first time, it always takes so long. I don't know why. Yeah, it's working now. So I've actually used a very hacky way. That's why I'm getting errors, but yeah. I'm not sure if you can hear this, but it is playing. You can see the markers. And I can then, add my own tags. So snare drums are very cool, and this is what it sounds like, right? And then I can add more content. I can copy this and then paste it down here again, and I can do the copy paste stuff. Now the thing about this is that there is a you can say a thing I wanted to add. So basically you can actually do file uploading as well. Now, what you usually do in editors and stuff is that if you're uploading the files right from your, you can say, page, you want a way to kind of delete them too, you know. So I was thinking, so let's say if I upload an audio file and it appears right here, right? Now that uploaded file is on my server, but I want that whenever I delete it from here, it should also be deleted from my server, right? So I want to kind of figure out a way to do that. So I don't think they provide this. Maybe they do, but I hope there is something, the way we can detect it. But let's see, let's take a look into it. So this is the documentation here. So everything in a Quill editor, it follows a standard of a delta object, and everything that you see like embeds, these are all called parchments. So I built in a parchment here. It's called a it's called an embed parchment. It's an embed blot. Yeah, yeah, this one. So these are all the methods they provide. So for different types of blots they provide. So I have these. Oh wait, actually, yeah, I think these are the ones. So these are the ones that I can use on my embed blot, and I think these are all global. We can actually these are all global functions. We can use them anywhere we want. And I want to take a look at delete at in specific. I think this is what we are looking for. So delete at, and this gives us index and number and length. I don't know if this is something that I want, but we can take a look into this. So I mean, I want a way to access what this object is. That way I can actually start working with it. Maybe I have to make an internal state for this plot so that every time any DOM element is removed, I check the state if it's there, something like that. I don't know. So let's take a look into this. I'm gonna add this is not a real audio file. I'm just gonna add some random shit and see if this works. Okay, so we do get the index. Okay, so it didn't delete. So I'm completely overriding the functionality of delete. Huh, I see. Okay, I think I can figure this out. I'm guessing this gives us the location in the delta. Actually, I want to see methods API, and I want to check this one, I think. I'm sure they had a way to add and delete things from your content. Delete text? Not really. Get contents, get text, semantic HTML, insert. So this is what I'm using to add elements to page. I want a way to delete the embed as well. And I'm guessing they do not have that. Update contents. Hmm. Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So, uh, how should I do this? Hmm. So currently I don't have the main class here. So there are two parts to it. So we have two parts. So first we have the actual class that's like doing the actual loading of things, right? So here we have everything we need. We have all the buttons, we have containers, we have the controls, we have everything right here. And there is this class that is actually the content that will be displayed. This represent the content, and this represent the actual, you can say, interaction or how to add that content. So this is the quill. This is the instance of the quill class. So we get all of this functionality from this, and yeah, let's take a look into this. I want a way to actually pass this on to my blot class. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually come over here and I'm going to pass this in as well. And let's give this to iQuil audio embed. There we go. Now, there is something I want to add or maybe change up a bit, but let's take a look. So this is how I'm playing the audio. So what I'm doing is whenever somebody plays the audio, I check if there is a static property in the class. If there is, I'm going to pause that class, I'm going to pause that audio, and then remove it, add a new one, and then play that audio. I don't think this is the best way. It's pretty slow, and I don't know if there's actually any good way to do this other than this. Please let me know if you know. But yeah, back to the track. Uh, so now I have this object right here. Where is it? Oh my god, this is so confusing. Okay, it's this object, right? So I can use this object, and specifically I can use the quill from this. This will give me the instance of the quill editor. So all of this API will be accessible now. I can use anything inside of this. I can check the contents, I can check everything. So what I'm going to check is actually console.log coil.get contents. I think that's the function. Update content. We're going to be using this most likely for updating after we remove something. But yeah, there's something I want to test. So let's take a look into it. Format, remove format. Isn't there a isn't there a remove? I think there is no remove. Oh, oh yeah, I forgot. They have all of these here. Delete text, insert, update contents. I think there is no way to actually get that. There's no way to remove it. Uh, we'll figure it out. Okay, so let's take a look into it. There's something I want to check. So if this is giving me does it give me the index of the element in the delta array? That's what I want to know. So this is our delta right here. You can see that it has on the zeroth index we have the whatever I've written, and it stays the same. And then I'll add some underline that will add 2, right? That's adding 2. And now I'm gonna add my component here, or you know, my audio thingy. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna select the area where I want it to be. I'm gonna say add. So that changed it, and now we have 5 elements. Okay, so we have this. Right, this is the audio block right here. So if I'm guessing, if I delete this, I should be getting third index, right? So let's check it out. So I'm gonna backspace, get contents. Ugh, let's just comment this out for a round. Come on, I have to write everything again. And then I can come over here. I can say this, and add it at this location. There we go. Right. Now let's take a look. I think it's the same. So it's on the third index again. Wait, actually, yeah, it's on the third index. Awesome. So it's on the third index. So if I delete it, why do I get 0 and 1? Hmm. So I'm getting 0 index. Why am I getting 0 index? I should be getting a different index. What if I add 2 of these? Right? Maybe 3 of these, 4 of these, why not? Oh, it didn't copy it. This is very strange. This is 0, and then I can come over here, add a new one in this area. Maybe this gives me 1. This also gives me 0. Let's take a look into the thing again. Okay. And let's take a look at what delete does. I hope it's readable. Inside of the blocks, I want to go to embed. And I hope the delete method is readable. There is no delete. What? Update. Wait a minute. Am I I'm missing something? I'm using it this one, so it should be here. Update. So we do get the index right here. So that's how it is deleting it, right? So delete that does is super.delete that. It passes it the index. So it passes the index to this guy, which I cannot access. It passes the super, this guy, and most likely it goes to, hmm, this does not have a delete that function. Maybe this guy has it? No. Does this one have it? It does. So shadow, there's so many plots here, man. Okay, so we can take a look at this guy. They're pretty limited functions. Index position value. Yeah. Where is, okay. So this is not working for some reason. Position, given index. So if I go back in my, why is it saying this? Oh, this dot. I actually didn't pass it here. How stupid of me. Maybe now it'll work. So I come over here, add whatever. I want to add it in this position. There you go. Now if I delete, we still get 0. We should not get 0. Now if inside of this I call the console log position, it's gonna be this dot position. I'm guessing that's the function. It takes in numbers. It doesn't tell the current position. Parent DOM node scope next previous. So we do have next in these guys. Maybe we can check something from there. So I can say just a previous next parent, and then we can just say, right, let's take a look into this. So if I delete this, do we get something? So previous is false, but we do have a parent, and the parent is quilladitor. Now I come over here, I add some stuff, add it right there. Do we get a next? We got nothing. Maybe I have to set this myself when I create an element. I'm guessing that's the case. Or if I call super dot delete. Oh, wait a minute, I missed something. They were calling a function that is different. Wait, where is it? Uh, Look at that. Wow, we have to write all of this shit if we want to actually make this good. But there was a function here. I think in the text? No, we're not in the text. In the block. Delete that. Okay, so I'm gonna figure this out by doing something like this. I'm gonna just use my normal dataset properties. So I'm guessing I should attach an ID with this. So I'm gonna say .dataset.id, and we're gonna add an ID here. What kind of format do we create of IDs? Now I'm gonna keep this static count, and it's gonna be a number. By default, it's 0, right? So every time we come over here, we're gonna set this to be QL audio plot 1, or maybe we can just call it ID. Come on, we don't need to do all of that, right? It's a dataset property. So I can say audio plot.id or count, right? And then we plus that count in the very end. So we say dot count plus equals 1. We're increasing the count. Right here, what we're gonna do is whenever the delete function hits, we gonna create a way to do something, right? We're gonna do something. What is this? Well, we gonna fetch that node and run the super delete. But how do we handle the... Maybe I should make this a number array instead of a static array. Last IDs. We can just call this count for now. Okay, I'm gonna say const ID equals, and then I can set this to ID. We're gonna just keep increasing the count, it doesn't matter, but we're gonna keep track of things from this array. And then we increase the count, and when we delete it, we for a fact know something's gonna happen. But we don't get the node here. Or actually, we do get the node. So if I say console.log self dot, oh actually, this dot dom node, I think it's possible. Well, we can look at that. So I don't need to refresh. I just come over here. I add an audio file. I add another audio file. So this is ID 1 and this is ID 2. And if I delete this, we should get ID 2 first. This gave, oh yeah, right. So it actually depends on top of the file. So the bigger ID will be on the top. So this is ID 0. So the above one should be ID 1. So if I come over here, yeah, there we go. Let's go. It's gonna work. So we get this ID right here. What I want to do now is when I delete it, I'm gonna pass all of this data into the onUpload function. So let's go over to our actual main class. Well, actually, we don't have to go there. I'm gonna rename this to just being blot actions, maybe. I don't know. Whatever that works, I guess. Because this is much more general now. Or I can just call it actions, maybe? Index. There we go. Easy stuff. When you don't know what to name the sole file in a directory, just call it index, man. Just go ahead, doesn't matter. So this time we're gonna add export function on delete. And this gonna take in maybe this, just like the other audio embed. It's gonna be iQuil audio embed, and it's gonna take in data. This is gonna be audio blot values. We're gonna do everything based on that, off that, right? This function only gonna execute if there is an option that is available. We can just check it in here as well. Audio.embed.options. And let me go into our types TS, and we're gonna add something new here. It's gonna be on delete. We're also gonna pass in audio embed iQuil. This is gonna return nothing most likely, and we're also gonna get the data. And yeah, I think that's perfect. Now we have everything set up. So we can validate the file. We can do something when the component loads. We can validate the uploaded file. We can handle the upload logic, and we can also handle what happens when that blot is deleted. Let's test it out, everything. It's not written yet. So we say if options.on.delete, then we're gonna run this, right? And if it's something like that, then we're gonna run that function. And on delete, this takes in data. I kind of want to know, is there a better way to do this? Because whenever I do this function calls, I always check if it exists, then execute it. Is there a one-liner for this? Look at this. I did the save for on upload, and I have to do this every time. It's kind of tiring in a way. So if there is something, and this is going to be asynchronous function, of course, await const res, and we can make this async. We can go back to our types and define it here. It's going to be promise, and most likely a void. We're not returning anything out of that function. Or maybe we should. I think we should. We're gonna pass in a boolean. Here's something what we're gonna do. So back in our delete function, we're gonna say if there is an options dot on delete method, well, we have actually already done that check. But we have to do this here too. I'm gonna remove that check from here. I'll keep it. You know, I'll keep it. Return res. There we go. So if options dot on delete, if it exists, then we're going to do whatever this function tells us to do. Okay, so here are the cases. So if somebody defines an onOfFloat function, and if that on delete function, and if that function returns false, we're not gonna delete the actual blot from here too, right? So if that function said false, we're not deleting this. We're never gonna delete this. But if it sends a true, then we're going to delete it. But if on upload is not defined, then we're just going to delete it. We're going to do the normal default behavior. And how we're going to do that? Well, we just say, if not options dot on delete, we're going to return self or super dot delete at index common length. There we go. Otherwise, we know for a fact there is a function. So we're going to call that function from our actions class. Actions thing. File change, pop-up submit. We're not gonna call this on delete because it just makes everything look similar. We're gonna say delete audio block. Yeah, this is much better. So we're gonna say return await. Wait, we cannot await this. So yeah. These are not asynchronous functions, so we cannot really do anything like that. If I make an iffy, then it's just gonna go to the other chain in a way. What do I do here? I want to get the result from here. I actually suck at JavaScript when it comes to stuff like this. It's so complicated. This is an async function. I'm gonna call it a synchronous function. How should I do this? I can void promise and resolve it maybe. I think that's the best bet. So we can say const res equals, we're just gonna return res. And I think promise dot, what was the thing? Promise dot all. Promise dot wait. I forgot the class function. It's been a while since I used it. Promise dot resolve. No. Wait, it's in the Node.js. It's not in here, I think. Let me just do a quick call, await a promise in sync. Maybe this is the one. I can't make that function async, right? Will this work if I make this async? I don't think it will. Maybe it can. Await pop-up delete audio blot, audio embed, and data is gonna be URL this dot dom node dot dataset dot URL. Just like that, we're gonna add different properties, URL label, and then we're also gonna add, what else we're gonna add? What was the last thing? Alignment? Yeah, I think so. I thought we resolved that. I think we don't need this anymore. This is pointless. Okay, awesome. Will this work? I don't think so, but we can test it out. If res, we call this oh, this doesn't need to return anything, right? Delete that. Yeah, this doesn't need to return anything. What? What do you mean? Something messing up with the build, maybe. Let's delete the folder. What? Why? What changed? Much better. But why isn't this compiling? Why does it say cool audio embed not found? Huh. Let's go into index.html. So it says this is not found, right? I'm guessing it is compiling, right? Oh, there is no UMD? Ah, there is no UMD. Wait, config. Why is there no UMD format being compiled? Function. Index dot. What? Ah, I see the file names. I think that's the reason I have to call this something else. I'll say global actions. What do you mean? Am I missing something? I don't think so. It says expected brace. What is going on? I'm actually gonna move this to its own file. That was very strange. I don't know what happened. Whatever, it worked. Let's see. Add. Does this delete it? It does. And if I add actual audio file, let's go back to snare, asset/snare.wave file. And then I press add. It is playing. Can I delete this? It's not deleting. Why? It is deleting. Okay, there we go. Awesome. So it is deleting. Now, if I go back to on upload, actually the index file, now we're gonna define the on delete method right here. So this is the on upload. I'm gonna say on delete, right? It's gonna be an async function taking an audio embed. I'm gonna actually keep the syntax better. I'm gonna fix the syntax. Types. I'm gonna move this later in the chain right here, and over on our this file, I'm gonna call this using that format. I think this is more optional. This is primary data. Data is important, so I'm gonna keep it first. So if I'm guessing it right, where is the error now? On there, yeah. So if I'm correct, if I have defined this function and I add something, right? And then I try to remove it. It got removed despite it being defined. So do we ever reach that point? Let's check it out. We don't reach that point, so the delete function right here is most likely executing. So what have I done? I'm waiting. Yeah, because I made this async. This cannot be async. How should I do this? Right? Strange. Very strange. This is not giving me errors or anything. I think the build isn't working. I'm gonna rerun this. So we got this, and this thing never got executed because we'd never get the res. It's a promise, so we never execute that. Or actually we do, because I think uh, const x equals new promise, right? And then I can do anything here. 1 x equals true. No? Why did it execute though? So that is getting true. Look at that. So we are getting true here. And what is this thing again? It's gotta be a promise. I think promises are truthy. Yeah, promises are truthy. Await, wait, resolve a promise in wait for a promise to resolve. I cannot do dot then. Or maybe I can. Yeah, because it's yeah, the thing is this is not. So let's if I say we're gonna call this something else. We call this delete, wait, action. Right, let's just call it action. So then I can say action dot on, sorry, dot then res. If there is a res, then we can just call this will this work? It should not work though. It should not work. Yeah, it actually, that's a wrong statement what I've written here. It should be this. We cannot do that because the both sides execute. Okay. If this happens, then we delete that index. I don't think this will work, man. It just feels different. So the upload on delete function is actually returning false. Do we ever get this? Console log action. This gives us true. Why? Why does this give us true? We gotta inspect that as well. Are the options being delivered? Huh. Oh my God. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Let's go! It's working. No matter how much I try to do this, it won't work. See? But it will work if I make this, if I never define it. Then that will be the default functionality. We can test it out. Okay, don't don't mess up now. There we go. So it is working. So if I go back here and I say if for whatever reason, we're gonna say if data dot oh wait, actually I want to pass in the ID as well right here. So I can say audio, and I'm gonna make everything better. Just wait. I'm gonna make everything better, much better. And uh, wait a minute. Wait, what? My brain just stopped. What was I gonna do? I was going to do something about this guy. We're gonna make a class member. This is gonna be data. And we're gonna assign that right here. But this is a static function, so I cannot assign it there. Okay, no problem. We're gonna create a function then. It's a static function, right? So we can create a function. We can call this, what do we call it? We can call it get data. And we have DOM node present here. So I can just come over here, copy all of this, return. Oh yeah, now I remember what I was going to do. So it's going to be return type of audio value. I was going to add the type. So this .dom node dot dataset dot id, and we can go back here. ID might not be present every single time, so we're gonna make this an optional value. So it's ID is gonna be string. Yeah, everything is string in HTML. So this is gonna be a string, and there we have it. Now I can just do, instead of calling these functions, I can just come over here and I can say this dot get data, and then I can also set the ID to be that dataset.id, and for that we have to also change it on the creation. So whenever you copy it, first we're going to check if the node does have that data.id. If it exists, then we're going to add it, but if it does not exist, we're going to add the count, and then we're going to append the count. Data.id, if it was not there, then we're going to append it, and we're going to push it. There we go. I think this is much better. Not the cleanest code. I just need help on this thing. I don't know how to make this better. I don't think it's even better. So now, if I go into my index file, and here I can say stuff like this. So we just do some heavy processing, right? We say this iConsole.log the res, and then I say if res, then return. I can just return false here. I don't even need to do those kind of checks, to be honest. So I can just say return false. Let me refresh. Let me give it a refresh actually, like a good refresh. So I'm gonna add this. So now on delete function, we'll send an API request. We wait for that. When we get a response, we say, okay, this response is not good. So we're just gonna go back and give you a false thing. Wow, it worked. So state is 400. Now if I said if it is true, then we are actually gonna delete it. We add that. It's not working. It's okay. We delete that. Awesome. We delete it multiple times. I don't know what to do about that when we delete it multiple times, but yeah, perfect. I think this is working. So for whatever reason, it's working. It's amazing, right? The system works. Let's fix our README then. I actually need a new screenshot as well with the new dialog box. I have the older one. Yeah, I'll take a screenshot like this. I'll copy the same image from my NPM. So here are the common greetings in English. I really don't like to spend a lot of time. You can see here I'm not very creative. Here are the common greetings in English. And then I add bullet points. I forgot how to do that. There we go. And then I say hello speaker. Right? And then I add what? I add two. This is gonna be how are you? And we add it right here. Then there's gonna be third. And this is gonna be uh nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Right? I'm gonna select this area and then add that file. Lastly, we're gonna have nothing actually. We're just gonna open the dialog box and we're gonna display something. So this can be HTTPS :// www.imageexample.com/assets/nice to meet you.mp3. There you go. We can add that. Actually, we don't need to add that. Then we can zoom in maybe. Just to make it look much better. And then we take a screenshot of this. I open it up. We say save it. We're gonna save it in here inside of the assets and replace that file. There we go. Okay, lastly, we need to update our README. I found that there were so many problems in my README last time. It's like so many typos, and I actually forgot where they all were. So this is common.js. Okay. Did it create a UMD now? It did. We have to test it out too locally, so that's gonna be another thing. Okay, let's update the README first. So we also gonna add another thing here, another type. It's gonna be ID. That is a string, and it's not always there, right? And I was also thinking of exporting the audio block, right? This function is pretty neat. I think people should use it, maybe. Export. I don't know what that will look like inside of the browser. Let's take a look. And so we have ES module, and then there's that. Okay, so it's right beside it. I can just say dot, and it will work. Although it will give me an error. Maybe not give this thing, because it's kind of coupled with the other things. It's not like it's just creating that. There's a lot to it. So yeah, I'm not gonna actually export it. I think that would be a bad move. Nobody can use this, right? They will have to create their own class, they will have to pass in so much data. But what if they do want to? Maybe I'll think of it later in the future. For now, we don't really need to think about that. Okay, let's fix other stuff and add a new part that is right here. It's gonna be on delete handle the handle what happens, handle deletion of the audio button embed from Quill editor. So why do I keep doing that? Handle deletion of the audio embed from Quill editor when, or maybe executed when you try to delete an audio embed. Return true. You can add your own deletion logic. Oh yeah, I remember now. I just wrote this here somewhere. Okay. Add your own deletion logic, or for add your own deletion logic for uploaded files. return true in case of success, and the quill audio embed will automatically remove the embed from the editor. Return false in case of failure, and embed will not be removed. There we go. JS actually. And I just go back to my index.html, the stuff I like to do. And then I just paste this here. We don't need to do the validating thing. And we can just remove this whole thing. And we can say file uploading, and on delete fetch https www.example.com/api/file, and then we say delete and body. Actually, I forgot something. What if we return ID from the upload function? Yeah, I want to do that actually. I want to fix that thing. So if we return ID from the upload function, plot actions, cool. That's something I missed. It's a very important thing. This is the one. So when you upload the file, value, oh, it is handled. I'm so smart. It's already handled. Wow. Yep, it's handled. This is why I love TypeScript, man. You just write code and then you figure out that you've already handled that case, even though you didn't think about it. Completely intentional, man. Completely. All right. Method delete. Deleting. Doing a delete request to external API file, and then I just say what is the common pattern for this. We can just make something that people can easily understand. Usually in APIs we have these kind of stuff. We just say ID, where ID equals data.id, and then we say method delete, and we can say const JSON equals res.json. If JSON.success, return true, else we can just have another case, return false. So lastly, I want to go into index .html. And here I'm gonna do something. A final bit of testing. I'm gonna alert console log data because this is important. Now I'm gonna add a bunch of files. Let's add some content. Ooh, there we go, content. Let's go. We add a bunch of audio files. So this is gonna be S, anything, doesn't matter. Add that in there, drop it in there. This can be another one, drop it in there. We can add another one and last and drop it in there. Now I want to see what happens when I delete each of these files. Will it correctly delete the correct one? I'm going to delete the middle one. Nothing happened. Oh, so it gave me 0. That was the first thing I added, right? This is correct. Then I added the top one. So this should be ID 1 with the label being whatever that is and whatever the URL was. Perfect. Then we go to the last one. Or actually, before that, I'm going to add another one here. I'm going to say, hey, right? And I'm going to delete that one. Perfect. This should be index 2. Was it index 2? It was. It's working. There we go. I think that's about it. We have actually handled all the things that I initially had planned. I wanted to make a component that will help me upload files right from the quill editor. Also, let me delete and handle those things in case of deletion. And yeah, that's about it. I think that's perfect. We've actually managed to make something. Final steps are going to be pushing this code and then pushing this code to my dev branch, building it, changing the version, and then pushing it to main and then building and publishing it. So I think, yeah, that's about it. It's fun to actually make these kind of projects. These are the projects that actually make you think a lot. And whenever I'm making these kind of stuff, I just enjoy it very much. I think this is where my heart lies. So if JSON.success return true, return false. Oh wait, I don't have to go here. So one final review on this will be done. A module for embedding audio files that you can play. You can also upload, validate, and upload files. You can also, okay, okay, pretty cool, pretty cool. So we have this. The thing about this is that another edge case in that is that what if the files are already uploaded? When you delete them, you do not want to delete them, right? And there are only files that you do want to delete them. That's gonna be a bit of problem. But that's the thing for future. I think I can introduce another input field where you can select deletable yes or no, and depending on that, you can actually run different kind of functions on top of that. That will be much more flexible in a way that people have, but that will be just so many controls. Look at this. There's already so many controls that you have here, although you're just using 2, but still, there are a lot of controls. Another thing I wanted to add is that go to URL, actually audio, quill audio embed, and then here, instead of create file inputs, actually create inputs. So where there is a URL, why do I say value? It should be URL input. Okay. URL input dot add event listener key press event if e dot target if e I forgot the key code. I think it's key equals enter. Then we're gonna say call this function. Where is that function? Pop-up actions. This is the last thing I want to change because it has been bothering me. Type, undefined type. Key enter. So it is key. So if it's equals to that, we're gonna run this. If I go in there, that's what it's getting at. Oh, it's a file change? Oh, right, no, not file change. I want this to be pop-up submit. I'm so stupid. This happens when you're not looking at what you're writing. So I can just now press enter, snare slash asset slash snare dot wave file. Come on, play. Yeah, it's playing. Let's go. What the hell did I click? Okay. Uh, anything that we're missing in the README? Let's take a look.